Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin. Sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We still at the topic of Law Mahfuz. This is a very, very tedious, arduous, and very complex subject that for Sufi you must understand this topic very well. This is second, we can say the backbone of Sufism. The first one is Ma'rifatullah, the knowledge of God. You must have Ma'rifatullah. You must achieve Ma'rifatullah. That is the first base, you can say, that you must have. The second, you must have deep understanding of the Law Mahfuz to be able to withstand the onslaught of the modern world to come, which had killed the Sharia of the Jew, which had killed the Sharia of the Christian, and soon it will be our turn, the Sharia of the Muslim. As Rasulullah had said, you follow the Jew and the Christian step by step. And even they enter the lizard hole, you will enter into. So, without the deep understanding of the work of the Law Mahfuz or the functioning of the Law Mahfuz, you will not be able to answer questions that had been put forward to the old religion, as I can say, old religion, the Jew and the Christian. And they failed to satisfy the Ummah, and they left the religion. And now you don't have a really true Ummah of each religion. Jesus had said in Gospel Barnabas, when I am not around, you can count my followers less than 20 true followers. As for the Jew, you can see only a handful of true Jews still around with their hair, in a pigtail, and they wore a small cap. Most of the Jews are Zionists. The same will happen to us. Same. Because we don't find religion, we don't find God. The first base, the first thing is to know God, to acquire knowledge of God. That should be the first prime mover in religion, the first one. But instead, we are taught sectarian Islam, Hanafi, Shafi'i, Maliki, Wahhabi, a lot of Shia, whatnot. Secondly, most of us are born Muslim. We are not like Mahmoud or maybe Mr. Albert. They search for the truth and they found it. So their emphasis spiritually will be on religion. We are born Muslim. And you can see the Muslim world, you can see the stress now is more on secular education, whereas the religious education is a secondary education. So children go to secular school because they will get good job, good salary, good rank, good diploma, good degree that is required and needed by the world today. The religious world can't offer this. So in Singapore, religious education is a weekend education, weekend school or weekend madrasa. The main one is the secular. It will happen to all the Muslim world because we are born Muslim. We don't search for God. So when you see the emphasis more on the secular, the strength of religion in our children will be less and less. And you can see also the derogation of the principle of Islam in many of our Muslim families. At one time, we can't even use long sleeve pant or even shoes. The ulama say that the way of the unbelievers. You dress like them, you become unbelievers. One time, our children never used jean or blouse. Now our children, the woman, jean, blouse, and whatnot. Free association and so on and so on. Because our children did not find God, they are born Muslim. Okay. So when they become more educated, can you believe the mind which are thinking in year 2022, maybe later on 2100, the mind exposed with a lot of exposure and education and whatnot, and you try to bring back, you want to isolate or insulated that knowledge into the 16th century or 17th century, the thought of the old Muslim scholar, Shafi'i, Hanafi, Maliki, Hanafi. You try to bring back. There are people who are in the year of 2100, you bring them back to this fold. There will be a renaissance, upheaval, as had happened to Christian and the Jew. When the Jew collapse of the Sharia, there was a vacuum and the Zionists come in. The Christian, when their Sharia collapsed, politicians come in. Alhamdulillah, if the Sharia of the Muslim collapse, the Sufi will come. And that fell on all our shoulders. Okay. So, to be a Sufi, the first thing you must have is the knowledge of God. You must acquire, or Ma'rifatullah. Then number two, to understand the work of the law Mahfuz. So that question put forward, you can answer, such as, if everything is predestined, why should we go to hell? Allah predestined it. We have no choice. We must follow. Why must go to hell? Why must I be born a woman? When it is said that a lot of women will be in hell, why didn't I be given a choice to be male or female? All right. Why do God in the Bible, in the Torah, even in the Quran, tortured human beings eternally? Doesn't he have humane feeling? Doesn't he say he's benevolent, merciful? But why must he torture human being eternally? A human being will not do that to a human being. But why God did this to us? Why created us to put us in hell? Better don't create us. These are the questions put forward. And they can't answer. So people lose faith because they don't want to worship a terrible God. They don't want to worship a cruel God. They don't want to worship a diabolical God, bad and good. And God admitted the good and the bad are from me. I inspire evil, I inspire good deed, the Quran. Well, you inspired become bad, why must we go to hell? And the prophet say, every infant born already depicted or stipulated to be dweller of hell or dweller of heaven or paradise. So if you are born unbeliever, you live as unbeliever, you die as unbeliever because fated. God fated it. Why should I go to hell? I have no choice. I have no free will. It's predestination. Why? Why? And you can't answer this. They point the finger. If you read the book 2001 Years of Disbelief, they tell you the God of Islam is a cruel God. Enjoy torturing, diabolical and so on. I will have my children born and live not to associate with such God. And the same thing in the Quran, same. And our children be educated more in the secularly way, their mind will come to this. It had happened to the community of the Jew, to the community of the Christian, now soon to be in Islam. Why? If I'm fated to be LGBT, why I must be persecuted? It's not of my choice. Why am I ostracized for this? So as Sufi, you must understand well so that people, you can put the answer in proper perspective, that people have no quarrel with Allah or with God. They could accept their situation. And this is very crucial for our generation to come. They will start imitating or followed the way of the previous community or the Western world. They will start asking, okay? And being born Muslim, you didn't search for God. Your strength in religion is not good. But those who have searched for God, they're willing to sacrifice anything for God. They are different. That is why when a convert saw me and say, oh, Ustadz, I'm a convert, newly convert. You are better off than me, no, Ustadz. I just new to Islam. I say, no, you are better off from me. More than 10 times, or maybe more than 100 times. Because if Allah asks me, what sacrifice have you done for me? Nothing. I'm born Muslim. You ask a convert, what sacrifice have you done for God? I gave up my family, my father, my parents disowned me. I gave up my way of life, drinking, enjoying all that sinful life. I gave up my culture. I gave up my religion. I gave up my way of life because I found you. See the sacrifice, right? And what had we done there? We are born Muslim. What sacrifice we had done for God? These people are ostracized by their family, especially the female convert. The family kicked them out and they have to stay from friend to friend. They are their friend houses to make, to live. Difficult. And their family, relative outcast them. The sacrifice they're given. And therefore these people, they are, because they found God, Their strength in religion is very strong. Okay? And they take religion very seriously. They search for the truth. They found it. You see, Cat Stevens gave up his music world. Millions. Because he found God. And many others. The sacrifice. So this question will crop up in times. And therefore, I urge all of us who want to bear this burden as the Sufi to understand this subject very well. It will be a long, tedious subject, but we'll truck on until you will fully understand and that you can put things in perspective, that if this type of question come out, you can explain and the other side can accept this, and you have saved the day for Islam. Okay? So bear with me, we may go many lectures on this to make sure you understand. Okay? Now, we get back to a synopsis of last week or the week before or the last lecture. We can see on Loh Mahfuz. Loh Mahfuz is a grand design. You see, the word grand design, it doesn't mean grand design, all the good things. No. Even the good, the bad thing, the evil, all in there. All in the grand design. You commit murder, it's in there. You rape people, it's in there. You molest people, in there. You kidnap people, in there. So the question is, how can a fair, merciful God has a grand design that include rape, murder, pedophiles, and so on? Okay. And I want to say, the good and the bad, or even the evil, come from me. No joke. It's the 6 pillars of faith, number 6, and even the Quran. But if you take it literally, then you are not being fair to Allah. But you understood this concept very well. You explain, they will accept. Why they must be raped, why they must be murdered, why they must be Hitler. Million died. Why there must be tsunami, million died. Earthquake, million died. Why? Okay. It's all in the grand design. Nothing is amiss. Nothing is amiss in there. I didn't miss even it's smaller than an atom. It's all in the grand design. Okay. So nothing is amiss. The grand design complete and perfect. No changes. So you see the serial killer or killers all over the world, the grand design. You see the terrorism is in the grand design because complete and perfect. And once in the grand design, everyone have to play their part, strict compliance, play their part. So the murderer have to kill, the rapists have to rape, the robbers have to rob, the thief have to steal, the pedophile will molest young children, and so on. The tsunami will kill, the earthquake will kill. They have to do their job too. All in the grand design. And they must do it, strict compliance, no two ways about it. All right? And we have to accept this Islam. You see that? All this we have to accept because we are Islam. Submission to the will of God. So how if the will is people to kill, to rape, to slaughter, to become terrorists and so on, we still have to accept Islam. That is the main issue. You can't answer that. People will leave Islam and say, as in the book of 2001 Years of Disbelief, they say, I don't want to have any association with that type of God. Cruel, unmerciful, diabolical, and so on. But as a Muslim, we have to submit. If we say, I'm the one who created evil, I'm the one also created good deeds, we have to accept submission to Islam. Okay? Because you want to be Muslim. And therefore you can't, many will run away from being Muslim. And that happened to the previous religion, the Jews and the Christians. And that will happen to Islam if you can answer this. It's a very serious situation. I wish the Sharia scholars will never want to answer because they can't answer. You have a deep knowledge of the working of the law mahfuz, the grand design, then you will understand. But the first and foremost, you must have the knowledge of God. Without that, you can't proceed. That's the base, the first base, okay? So we go, there are many issues here. We go step by step. I can't go all in one go, step by step. The first thing we have to clear is the confusion, right? If everything has been predestined, so we don't need to do anything, just relax. Hold our arm and let things go as it is. No need to do anything because it's already predestined, right? But what Rasulullah said, the Prophet said, the Prophet was asked if everything had been designed as such, then shouldn't we just let the design take its own course without us do anything at all? And what the Prophet said, Holy Prophet said, don't do that. Just live normally. Just live normally. Now, how can we live normally with everything already predestined? Actually, there is no conflict. No conflict because, okay, we understand that everything has been predestined. That's why Allah say, did they say we have any say in this matter? Say, verily all power in all matter rests with God. He already predestined. Say all things are from Allah. All things, the good and the bad. But what had come to these people that they failed to understand a single fact. All right? Now, and then Allah say, how can you think? How can you decide? Right? Woe to you. How can you decide? Woe to you. Now, what is this? Right? If everything is predestined, we cannot think, we cannot decide, then let it run its course. But Rasul said, no, live normally. Now there's a contradiction here. Right? Allah say, everything comes from me, don't you understand? I didn't miss anything. Right? So don't you think, don't you decide, because I've done the decision. I already made the decision in the predestination. So how dare you think and you thought? Well, how dare you thought and you decide? I've done it, finished, no change in my grand design. So how can you think and decide? But Rasulullah said, no, you must live normally. There is a contradiction. Live normally means you must think. You must you must toil. You must work hard. You must do accordingly as a human. You can't just look at the land and the crop grow up. No, you must toil the land. You cannot look at the sea and the fish will come. No, you must go and throw your net or go fishing. You must do something that's also live normally. But then God say, everything be predestined. How can you think? How can you thought? So that is the confusion we first have to clear. Okay? What the answer, you and everything else are in the grand design. The answer is think, live normally, decide. That is in the grand design. That you must understand. That is in the grand design. You see? Not that you think it's out of the grand design. No. Everything you do, you decide is in the grand design. That must be, that's what I say, live normally. Because whatever you do, that is in the grand design. Nothing is amiss. Even you say, I don't want to worship God, it's in the grand design. I want to work in the grand design. It is never outside the grand design. That you must be clear. So God say, how can you think, how can you decide? Means you cannot think that you can act outside the grand design. No way. No way. You cannot outthink me. You cannot outthink me. You can't. Whatever you think, whatever you do is in the grand design. That's why I say, how can you think you are not bound by the grand design? How dare you? How dare you decide you are not in the grand design? How dare you? Whatever thing you do, whatever thing you want to do is in the grand design. So there is no anomaly here. There is no contradiction here. What Rasulullah said, live accordingly. Whatever you do is in the grand design. To say that you do or you think outside the grand design, Allah say, how dare you? How dare you think you act outside the grand design? No way. And that is the answer. You and everything else are in the grand design. So you see, does Allah know what I'm going to do? Sure. The rapist want to rape a woman. Does Allah know? Yes. A man want to molest a young boy. Does Allah know? Yes. The terrorists want to kill 100 people and he kill 100. Does Allah know? Yes. The tsunami going to hit and kill billion people. Does Allah know? Yes. Otherwise, he's not all-knowing. He's all-knowing. So before you, even what you think he knows, what you're going to do, he knows. The second question is, need he to approve all my action? Yes. If we bypass him, he cannot be God. So what we want to do, what we do not want to do, he must approve. If we can bypass his power, he cannot be God. So these two basic things you must know. Whatever you want to do, he knows. Whatever you do, he approves. Whether you do or you don't do, he approves. Otherwise, we can bypass him. Okay. And that's why I say, for every announcement, there is a term, and you will come to know. So everything already fixed. When come the time, it will happen. Whether World War I, World War II, tsunami, the problem in Ukraine, the death of the Queen of England, all this, the term come and you will know. Truly the command is Allah in all things. You have no option whatsoever in this matter. No option. There's no question of free will, no way. Even scientists, what is his name? He said free will is an illusion. Free will is an illusion. Even the scientists say that. To every people is a term appointed. You must act within the term appointed. When the term is reached, not an hour can they cause delay, no, they can advance it. So by the time you have to die, you have to die. You can't delay. But during your lifetime, you have to carry out this grand design. There's no two ways. You have no option of it. You must carry out, whether it's good or bad, or even the ugly, you have to do it. All created, Allah created not all that safe in truth. That means you have to fulfill it. It's not for joke, it's not for fun, but He put it, the predestination and the grand design for you to fulfill your role. Even you hate something, it may happen that the thing you hate, a lot of good in it. You don't know. But everything He has created for you to act, or He has predestined, there's always good reason for it. We don't know. So if you really have the knowledge of God, that's number one. Verily, He will teach you a knowledge, and that is this one, that you will never be ignorant. And that will help Islam in the years to come. And we are just the actor. Everything predestined. We are just the actor. We have to carry out the predestination. And you can see that. But those endued with knowledge, those who have knowledge will say, you live according to the grand design of Allah. Right? You did carry within Allah's decree the grand design to the day of resurrection. Until we are resurrected, you live according to the grand design. No two ways about it. We are the actor. We are. Now, when I say we, you can expand it to include all creations, big or small, all creation. That's why in the poem Ancient Mariner, we must respect all creation, big or small. All have a role to play in predestination. That is why Allah had commanded in the Quran, all my creations worship me in the way, in their peculiar way. Right? All creations. So bear in mind, apart from Allah, all others are creation. You'll be surprised later on you can see. Creation, the mind is also creation, memory is creation, voice is creation, eyesight is creation, smell is creation. Don't look at the trees, they are creation. But whiskers, strength is creation. They come and go. Allah can give you strength, take back. Give you voice, take back. Give you hearing, take back. Give you eyesight, take back. Give you memory, take back. Creation is not inherently us. It's given to us. He didn't give you the eyesight, you can't see. He didn't give you the hearing, you are deaf. All these are creation. So you live according to His grand design, His decree, His grand design, until the day of resurrection. You have no choice in this matter. No choice. And you can't say, why? And that happened. The previous religion, Jews and the Christian. Why? Why God so cruel? Why? Because Jesus said, wherefore is the gate of hell? Wherefore is the gate of hell? He cannot be questioned for his acts, but we will be questioned for our acts, right? And the world is his state. We are the law mahfuz, the grand design being acted in this world. In this world, the world is a state. So he says, the life of this world is but play and amusement. The life in this world, the grand design, is but play and amusement. What is the life of this world but amusement and play? See? We born, infant, become child, youngsters, adult, old age, and then pass away. Our life span is in this world. We are acting our life in this world. And just as the Stephen Hawking, the one who said there is no free will, he said, how do we know we are not just characters in a computer-generated soap opera? And I'm surprised these scientists can think this way, but Muslim Sharia scholar can never reach this state. Can never. But scientists could reach it. Are we computer-generated soap opera? Of course, if we think Allah owned a computer, it will be so sophisticated than what we have now. Very, very, very. That's why the enjoyment we're going to enjoy in the paradise is beyond our imagination. So Stephen Hawking said, how do we know we are not just characters and this life in this world is just a computer-generated soap opera of God? So you see, I say this world is his stage. His stage. This world is the stage. You can see the scientists comment. If our sun was just 20% less or more massive, the earth will be colder than the present day Mars, right? If our sun was just 20% less or more than massive, less or more massive, the earth will be colder than the present day Mars or hotter than the present day Venus. We all die. We can't live. But it was made to be balanced, equilibrium, because this is his state. He wants us to act. So the sun cannot be 20% less or more massive. Otherwise, the stage is burned. Similarly, you can see Stephen Hawking say, most of the fundamental constants in our theories appear fine-tuned, already fine-tuned, in the sense that if they are altered by only a modest amount, the universe will be qualitatively different, and in many cases unsuitable for development of life. But God makes sure the stage is just right for us to act. Is this not coincidence? He has made it the world to be a stage fit for us to act. Also, the coincidences, our planetary conditions, that means this solar system, a single sun, the lucky combination of Earth-Sun distance and solar mass, far less remarkable and far less compelling as evident that the Earth was carefully designed just to please us human beings, or just right for us to act on this stage. So the world is a stage, okay? And predestination is a script. For such, their portion appointed must reach them from the book. So every one of us will have a book of life, and we will act according to our book of life. Allah's command must be fulfilled. We must fulfill the book of life. Even you have remained in your home, those for whom death was decreed will certainly have gone forth to the place of their death. That means even you people from Europe, because have been decreed they must die in Thailand because of tsunami. They have to go there, and they went for tour, and they were killed at the beach because of tsunami. You see, the great distant Europe and Thailand, but they have to be there because have been decreed they must die in Thailand. They will go. So that is their script. It must be fulfilled. There's no two ways about it. So it's predestined. So it's not for the sun, to overtake the moon, or does the night outstrip the day. No way. They float each in an orbit. They follow their orbit because it's been predestined. So we can make sure that we sleep at night, wake up in the day. It won't be vice versa. No way. So basically, we understand that we are the actors. We're acting on the stage. The script is a predestination. We have to follow it. And we can see predestination at work, designs within design. Design within the grand design. We can see. It's like watching a movie, part of a movie that previous the old movie and the first old the movie you can see later. I'll show to you. But look at this. But truly the command is with Allah in all things. Okay. Allah created not all that safe in truth, that if created this, we must act according to what is created. What is predestined, we must act according to it. Okay? Then we created not the heaven and the earth and all between them, but for just end. He wants you to do his way. You must perform his way. And he has reason for all that. Okay? Not without purpose did we create heaven and earth and all between. No wise did Allah create this, but in truth and righteousness. You have to follow the grand design. And you can say at the end of the day, it's fair, justiciable, and it's acceptable by all at the end of the day. But we are still going through the day, not yet reaching the end. You see, the grand design, actually the first movie, or say the first design or example of this grand design within design, this example of designs within the grand design, we see story about Moses and Pharaoh. Were not born, but it's there. How the Pharaoh killed all the infants, and Moses' mother was inspired to let Moses be put in a basket and put him on River Nile to escape the army of the Pharaoh coming, killing all infants. And who found the baby? Pharaoh wife. And Moses became the adopted children of Pharaoh. You see, he was not killed, adopted son of Pharaoh. He grew up in the castle and learned in the castle, right? But one day, he saw someone attacking his tribes. His tribe means he from a certain tribe, adopted by Pharaoh, but he saw his tribe, one of his men of his tribe was attacked by this man, and he killed the man. And because of that, he has to run away from Egypt. He will run to the desert, and then he got the revelation from God, and then the 10 Commandments. Then he came down from the place, the high place, and his face was shining like very bright. And he found that his followers were worshiping this golden calf, and he was very angry. The people of Moses replied, we were oppressed before you coming to us and after it. Moses said, your Lord will soon destroy your enemy and make you ruler in the land. Then he will see how you act. So his people say, help us. We are being oppressed. This is the Jew. We are being oppressed. Help us. So Moses said, yes, I will help you. So he went to Pharaoh with his brother Aaron. And then, of course, he's all right because he's born in the I can say it's a castle. What he born there, so the protocol is all right. He's the adopted son, so he can see the Pharaoh, and told the Pharaoh, "Can you release my people because they're being oppressed? I want you to release." And he showed his magic, his hand shining, and then he threw a rope, and the rope become snakes, and also the Pharaoh people also throw their stick and become snake and fought. And of course, Moses won. And then still Pharaoh did not want to release his people. So God brought down a lot of calamity. Water changed to blood, frog falling from the sky, fleas appearing everywhere, flies. Then we have the cattle disease, boils appearing on people, hail and fire from the sky, locusts coming down in millions, attacking vegetation and so on. Darkness covering Egypt, and a lot of death. Okay? So in the end, Moses, because still the Pharaoh did not want to release, so he brought his people out from Egypt. And then they meet the Red Sea. So the people say, oh, Moses, we are done. Behind the Pharaoh and his army coming, in front of the Red Sea, what should we do? Right? Thereupon we inspired Moses, strike the sea with thy staff, whereupon it parted, and each part appeared like a mountain vast. So the sea parted, and each side is like a mountain, a huge mountain. And we caused the pursuers to draw near unto that place, and we saved Moses and all who were with him, and then we caused the others to drown. So Moses, you see the staff there, the stick, it knocked at the water, the sea, it parted. Okay, parted. So you can see his people got a path to escape to the other side. And behind them, when they are safe, you can see the Pharaoh coming in and the army, and then the water caught them. Okay, and recently the proof, they found all these remnants under the sea, which was depicted where they were killed. Okay, and all his army gone. And last Pharaoh, he said, I believe in the God of Moses, but the angel said, too late. Your testimony is rejected, that you believe. So God saved the body of Pharaoh for the future generation. Okay, so here is Allah said, today will preserve your body so that you become a sign for those after you. But most people are heedless of our sign. Okay. So that is design within design, grand design. Also Noah and his people, also another design within the grand design. People built ship at the seaside, near the sea, Noah built a ship on top of a mountain. Of course, it's very funny. How you going to bring down the ship from the mountain to the sea? Miles away. By the time you drag, the ship all will be broken up. So these people, he asked the people to help, but the people laugh at him. You must be crazy. How can you build a ship on the mountain? People be ship near the sea. Okay? So he began to build the ark. And whenever the leaders of people pass, they laugh at him. Of course, you are crazy. How can you build a ship on top of a mountain? Right? They say, oh Noah, you have disputed us and been frequent in dispute of us. So bring us what you threaten us. That means you say, your God will punish us. Come, show us. And what Allah fulfill it. So we save him and those with him in the ark, filled with creatures. Thereafter we drown those who remain behind. So those in the ark were saved. Right? And even his son was killed. His son was drowned. Okay? And then finally, those in the ark were saved. Okay? Ended on the land after the flood resided. And also another design, you can see Lot. And Lot, you know, these people are gay or were gay. They're all interested in men. And Lot, when he said to himself, do you commit lewdness? No people anywhere have ever committed before you. They want men, not women. How can you lust after men, weary travelers, and commit evil in your gatherings? The only answer he gave was, bring God punishment. If you say what is true, let God punish us. They threaten. Okay, so they go to Moses. They want the two handsome men that visited Moses. They would want to give gift to Moses, to Lot. They want the two men. They did not know the two men that visited Lot were angel appearing as two young men. They want these two young men. They offer gift. Lot doesn't want. So they all threaten Lot and want to do harm to him. Okay? So the angel saved them, all right, but left Lot's wife behind because she is a traitor. She was a traitor. So when the brimstone come down, hit Lot, there's Sodom and Gomorrah, hit Lot, the people, all were killed except those who follow Lot. Also, Allah said, but we save him and his family except his wife, because she's a defector. She was of those who lag behind. You see, the brimstone coming. So there was an expedition why we call the gay broken wrist. They say the brimstone hit the wrist, so the wrist broken, so they're broken wrist. So you can see here, Lot and the children safe, but the wife becomes stoned. Okay. And also Jacob and Joseph, the story, another design with the design. Jacob was asked by the children that the eldest children, they want to bring their brother Joseph to town. But instead, what happened? They threw him in a dry well, and then come back, show to their father Jacob, look, our brother had been killed by wolf, and show the dress of Joseph to Jacob. Okay, and Jacob was so sad, he cried, and he became blind because of the grief, losing Joseph he loved so much. He was blind. He was blind. So Joseph was in the dry well, was saved by people, and then was sold as a slave. Okay. And then his mistress wanted to seduce him, but God saved him. In the end, to save their face, the husband of this woman complained to Pharaoh, and Joseph was put in jail. In jail, because God gave him the knowledge to interpret dreams, he managed to interpret the dream of these two convicts. Later on, his knowledge of interpreting dreams reached Pharaoh, and Pharaoh called him to interpret his dream. And he interpreted correctly. There will be 7 years of harvest, so you must keep a lot of whatever you harvested, because there will be 7 years of drought. And what he depicted was true, and he was promoted to be minister of Pharaoh, one of the ministers of Pharaoh. Then his brother come to visit the town where he was the minister, and then he purposely put his property, I think was his cup, golden cup or silver cup, I'm not sure, in the back of the brothers, and then got them arrested. Appear before Joseph. They could not recognize him because only a doubt. So Joseph said, "No, I'm arresting your brother Benjamin, because I suspected he the one who stole my property." So they begged him to release her, because they have lost Joseph, now Benjamin. So Joseph said, "Okay, one condition. You bring your father to see me." Right. So they brought Jacob to see Joseph, and Joseph was so happy to have his father. And when the father smelled the smell of Joseph, his vision come back again. Okay. So there's another design within design. These are bigger design if you look that way. Our life also is a design. Each and every one of us is designed within design, predestination. Okay? And we have to accept predestination. If you don't accept predestination, then you cannot be a Muslim. Deem ye that we had created you for naught. Everything there's a reason. Everything. He has his plan. So how can you deny anything which he created, his favor? And therefore it becomes the faith, the sixth pillar of faith. You must believe in Allah, number one, his angel, number two, his book, number three, his messenger, number four, Qiyamah, Armageddon, 5, and predestination. That is number 6. You must believe in predestination. Even you have a goal as high as Mount Uhud and donate it to charity, Allah will not accept it if you do not believe in predestination. See? It's a principle of faith. And people still say, what? We don't have free will. People have the will whether to steal or not to steal. People have the will to eat or not to eat. But they forgot all these are within the grand design. You think you don't want to eat, you think you want to eat, it's in the grand design. You think you want to rape, you think you don't want to eat, it's in the grand design. What have been stated that you must do. That's why I say, how can you think and decide? Cannot. It's all in the grand design. You have to fulfill it. There's no two ways about it. And that's why it becomes the pillar of faith, predestination. Okay. And you must understand this as we go along, this knowledge of Law Mahfuz. You must understand well. And this is only the beginning. many, many lectures to go through to understand why is death merciful. Why there is a tsunami, rape, killing, whatever, but still God is benevolent, merciful one. All this need to be answered. Okay. So bear with me. There are many more lessons to undergo to understand this, so that at the end of the day, we will not be ignorant anymore. We understood the whole concept very clearly. Okay? Because this is the sixth pillar of faith. And if you don't accept that, even you have a goal as high as Mountain Uhud and donate it to charity, Allah will not accept it if you do not believe in predestination. And not only that, Rasulullah says, you cannot change predestination. No way. If a calamity must befell you, you cannot make it disappear. And it will not happen to you. You cannot make it happen. That means you can't change predestination. No two way. If you believe otherwise, you will surely be condemned to hell. Okay? And he said, my scheme is strong. There is none to alter the decision of Allah. He can't change the grand design. Otherwise, he say, hey, if you are really most intelligent, how can you vary your grand design? How can your grand design not complete? Why you need to vary? You are most knowing. So that's why I say my scheme is strong. I will never change. Perfect. Everything is in there. That's why none to alter the decision of Allah. And so he showed Abraham the system, how the system works. The sun goes up in the daytime, then goes down at night. The moon and the star go up in the night and then set in the daytime. There's a system. And if there's a system, there's a creator of the system. And that's where Abraham had the knowledge of God. He believed that there is creator of the design. Okay. So that is how God showed this. So we are still at the beginning part of the Law of Mahfuz. Bear with me. There are many more to come. I'll go slowly, but make sure you understand it. This is only the first part. Many more to come. Bear with me. So I stop here and we'll continue next week, inshallah. Okay, I'm back to Bayu. We may say a few words before we have 10 minutes in remembering Allah or zikrullah. Okay.
Iya, baik. Alhamdulillah, sahabat semuanya. Pada kita simak syarah dari Ustadz tentang yang ke dunia yang ke-10. Baik, seperti biasa Ustadz, kita akan zikrullah 10 menit Ustadz.
So remembering Allah is you have no data about Him. We will never comprehend how Allah look like because no data, nobody has seen Him. It's so huge. How can you put in your mind? Prophet Ramadan said if your mind can take Allah all in, you are greater than Him. No way. So we don't know about Allah. So the memory is when you think about Allah, there's no shape, no form, nothing. Blank, no shape, no form, only the remembrance of Allah. Then you focus, remembering Him. Then you find your eyelid is tightly shut. That means you're focusing. It's good. Then you be steadfast on it. Stick on it. So this is the way when I say you go up. So you have a problem, you go up, remember him, then focus, and then tell him what you want. That is supplication or dua. But this involves zikrullah, remembrance of Allah. So we spend 10 minutes, inshallah, to, because zikrullah also is cleansing. Because when you think of Allah, remember him, there's nothing in your mind. So it clean out all those things that harbor in your mind. It cleanse it out, cleanse them out. So every time you zikrullah and continue to zikrullah, it has a cleansing effect. And eventually there will be light shining on you, the aura. So practice. This is the pulse of a saint, zikrullah. You must endeavor to remember him as frequent as possible until it becomes part of you. It stick on, become part of you. It's like a person who memorized the Quran. He always keep on repeating in his mind until it's there. He can remember everything. Same, you keep on remembering Allah. It'll be there. Okay? And not only that, it can also be, when you remember him, you are put under his protection. That is, say, my people has no problem if they are under my protection. We'll see that in future. Okay, so we start Bismillah. Remember Allah in your mind. Say Allah, because if you tell your mind what you want to remember, say Allah, no form, no shape, Allah. Then focus to that. Focus your eyes to that, close your eyes, focus to that. No distraction, focus. Then be steadfast. 10 minutes, please.
Sudah 10 menit, Ustaz.
Alhamdulillah. Inshallah we see each other again. Wabillah taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum.